Hello, and welcome back.
Just pretend none of that ever happens.
Again. Welcome back to another wonderful, exciting edition of Red Dot Forum Camera Talk.
That's right. An actual one with actual sound.
Actual sound.
We were going to do 2 hours.
Thank you for hanging in here. Okay. So I am your host, David Farkas, joined by Josh Lehrer, the one and only.
Hello.
Over there in the little box there is Jose Rivera producing the show with sound this time. It's amazing.
Yes.
So thanks for bearing with us there for our little brief interlude. But we do have an exciting and wonderful show for you in our completely unbiased
That's right.
opinion.
Yes.
So what are we talking about today, Josh?
Well, I think in our world, there's not much bigger news than a brand new M lens. I don't mean a special edition or a reissue or a classic series or a subtle update. I mean a brand new design.
Sure.
I think that's if in some ways more exciting than an M camera coming out because it has a much longer lifespan.
Right.
So on January 29th, we were blessed with that's not it. It's right there. A brand new Leica M lens, a brand new
magic.
design.
Magic. It's right there.
Magic.
Ooh.
The first new Noctilux in quite a while. This is the Leica Noctilux-M 35mm f1.2 ASPH.
And if you can say all those words really
That's
fast,
right.
you also can be Josh.
That is correct. So, David, give us
The rundown.
a little context first about what is be mean to Noctilux if. What is a Noctilux, David? Tell me what a Noctilux is and why I should care about it. And then maybe we'll talk about this lens if it's worth our time.
Well, we got to take a little trip down memory lane.
Oh, I love that trip.
Of course. So
Are there snacks on this trip?
there are 1966 snacks. So they're a little stale, but there are snacks. So if we go back to the 1960s, Leica came out with a lens that looked awful lot like this. Ish. There we go. An awful lot like this, which was and this is a reissue. This is not the original, so don't get too excited. But they came out with the 50mm f1.2 ASPH Noctilux. And this was Leica's fastest lens at the time, an f1.2 for 50mm. And it was their first aspheric lens design, which at that time, they didn't have the fancy CNC machines. So this was hand polished. Every lens was just slightly different and unique. And those are very, very sought after. I'm sure Josh can regale you with tales of wonderfulness of those lenses. But desirable enough that a few years ago, Leica gave us a reissue in their Leica Classics line of the 51.2 with that kind of signature Noctilux look. This then led to the 50mm f1 in several variations,
Yes.
3 or 4.
Yeah, well, we have you'll notice I did not bring with me one of every Noctilux. I did that on purpose because we have an entire Noctilux episode.
Do we now?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's 2 hours of covering all the different Noctiluxes, so we're not going to rehash all
Don't have to go through all that.
And I did not spend all that time gathering up all those lenses because we've already done it. But
So let's use...
after
Yes.
the 1.2 came the F1.
Yes.
The F1 had a very, very long life. It went through 4 iterations. Version 4 right up until the digital era and then discontinued
2006.
in 2006
Until we got this.
until we got that.
So this is the 50mm 0.95.
Yes.
Which was also kind of groundbreaking because it used a floating element design. And of course, this is the first lens that Leica made that was faster than f1. Very special. I think let me say this. The trend here is for Noctilux more than anything. Yes, it's generally the fastest aperture offered in that particular focal length by a fair margin.
Yes.
The 75 Noctilux, which was recently introduced, is a 1.25, so it's not always f1. That's kind of a misnomer. I think the better definition is that it's when Leica really pushes the boundaries of what is possible with optical engineering while favoring light gathering capability. I think that's, for me, the closest definition because you can't say a Noctilux is always f1 like even a Summilux is not always 1.4. Okay, Summicron is always
Yes,
f2.
that's true. There's only a few of those, yeah.
Right, so there's always Summicron f2. So we can't only define it by the aperture. And I think what we saw is with the 1.2 50, that was the first aspheric design. The 0.95 was the faster than f1 first lens, but also one of their earlier lenses with a floating element, not the first, but one of the first ones to incorporate that. The 75, this is the fastest they've ever made, right? So now with the 35, they're also breaking new technological barriers.
Yes.
And I think for me, that's the most significant conversation here, because this isn't just a new lens for Leica.
Correct.
This is a new optical design direction where they're implementing new technology, and it's the first time we're seeing in this lens. And I think, just to no spoiler alert here, but Josh did extensive testing of this lens.
I did.
And
We have much to show.
we have much to show, but what's really impressive is it's not just that it's fast.
Right.
It's not just that it has wonderfully smooth bokeh. It's also really, really high performing, especially considering the maximum aperture. And we'll get into that.
Yes.
But Josh, do you want to talk about, especially given your testing, and you also took it out in the real world as well, right?
I did, yes.
So talk a little bit about how you feel this fits in,
Yeah.
and kind of just your first impressions. And then I think it's worth having a discussion about where this fits in among the lineup of 35 millimeter
Yes.
specifically, and the overall lenses in general.
Yes. So the first thing that I'll mention is just to add on to your sort of definition of a Noctilux. The technical definition in Leica's world is anything faster than f1.4. So any lens with a maximum aperture faster than f1.4, at least all the ones we've seen up to date,
Sure.
are Noctilux, especially that's 0.95, f1, f1.2, or f1.25. So if it's faster than f1.4, it has the Noctilux designation. But I think the most important thing to understand, and possibly that's maybe misunderstood, is that Noctilux doesn't just refer to that aperture designation. Noctilux is a look. It's a lifestyle. But seriously, there is actually
There is a Noctilux
look.
Absolutely.
It can be easy simply to look at a lens that's f1.2 and a lens that's f1.4 and go, well, why would I spend another $1,000 to save a third of a stop? Why would I do that? Because you have to look beyond the maximum aperture number to understand how the lens is going to perform and how it's going to fit into your lineup. And that's never been truer than with the 35 Noctilux. I think we really saw that when we saw the 75 Noctilux, which was only 2/3 of a stop faster, or give or take, right?
The 125?
The F2 is one and a third stop faster, right? Yeah, sorry.
Well, yes, correct.
Yeah, F2, yeah. Math. Anyway, which was not a significant, huge difference.
I mean, size.
But yes, the size is huge.
It's like
But
massive.
the performance and the look
Is
between the
amazing.
75 Noctilux and
pretty
the 75 Summicron is huge. We also have an episode on 75 if you want to watch that.
We sure do.
We have tons and tons. Don't watch it now. Right, you're watching us now, but
Watch it right now.
when
Just
will
turn
then
it- just turn
when
it
will
off.
then be now, David?
Soon.
Okay, good. So we are at a position now in the Leica product lineup where there are quite a few 35 millimeter M lenses to choose from. And yes.
And let's be real.
Yeah.
Some exceptionally good 35s. It's becoming I'll say this. When the 35 APO came out, now, what, 5 years ago?
Yeah, 2021, yeah.
Yeah, 5 years ago, I was like, okay, now I'm a little conflicted because, as we've said many times in the show, the 35 Summilux FLE was my desert island lens. It's like, if I had to just pick one Leica lens and you were holding me to it,
Yeah.
one M lens, that would be it, right? And for a long time, that was my main lens. And then that 35 APO came along and it's like, oh yeah, this.
And we have a show on that lens as
do.
well, which you can, if you want to rewind the clock 5 years, you can watch that.
But to finish that out, so I was like, wow, this lens speaks to me because that was the first M lens we saw with that close focus range, which was like, oh my gosh, we have basically like Q-like macro mode, but on an M camera, it's fantastic, and reference level quality in a super tiny package. I mean, this is one of the smallest M lenses, but it's also arguably, at least in my mind, the highest performing M lens in the lineup. And some might argue that, but
Let them.
it's at least the highest performing 35. And I loved it. And then Leica has to go and revise the 35 Summilux.
Yes.
Right?
How
And
dare they?
How dare they? and the new barrel design with the extendable hood and that close focus range. And I'm like, oh, you're killing me now, because then you took one of my favorite lenses, and now I've got the close focus, and you tweak the optical performance a little bit. It's like, oh man, now I'm really conflicted. So finally, I feel like I've reached this piece, and now Leica drops this 35 Noctilux, and it's not the size of the 75. It's just barely bigger than the Summilux.
We're gonna show that too.
And now, oh my gosh, I've got the close focus, I've got the fast aperture, you've got that Noctilux look, which I swear we are going to talk about.
But, if you feel like it.
and it has that exceptional sharpness, which you also see. And it's like, man, why do they got to do this to me? Because there is so many great 35s, and we can't leave out just the vanilla 35, non-APO-Summicron is also fantastic.
Yeah, and small.
Yeah. It's like,
we
too
have
many choices.
35 Summicron, 35 Summilux, 35 Summilux steel rim, 35
I forgot about the steel rim.
35 Noctilux. So 5 different 35s in the current lineup, not to mention like a bajillion that you could get from the back catalog.
Right.
Not to mention 2 SL 35s as well. So there's a lot of 35s to choose from. And one of the goals for tonight's show is to help you decide if 35 Noctilux is the right 35 for you, and where it slots into the sort of upper tier 35 millimeter M lenses that are in the portfolio now. Because the number 1 and number 2 questions that I got about preparing for the show is, how does it compare to the 35 APO?
Yeah.
And how does it compare to the 35 FLE2? But 99% of the questions, if I look in the chat, if I turn my head slightly to the right, will also be that, I'm sure. And on one hand, of course I understand, and that's exactly what we're going to show tonight. On the other hand, I think it does a little bit of disservice to the fact that Leica called this lens a Noctilux, that you dare compare it to anything else. I'm kidding, obviously. But it really is a lens that stands on its own. And every time a new Noctilux comes out, I think there's always a little bit of that like, oh, but how is it really any better? And then we do a show, we do an article, we shoot it. You guys get it in your possession, you start using it, and we're like, oh, it's actually...
That's why, yeah.
It's actually amazing.
Okay, so pop quiz.
Yes.
All right, talking about this Noctilux mythical look. And I know we've done episodes as well of like fact versus fiction and mythology and all this, but I think there's some truth here. And what's the one word that comes to your mind when I say Noctilux? Because I have one. So let's hear yours.
Because of course my initial reaction is always to be sarcastic.
No. Be serious.
I mean, magic.
Yeah. And mine is cinematic.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I think when you look at the quality of images taken with a Noctilux, and I'm sure the chat is probably blowing up right now.
I don't want to look.
I don't even want to look. But Jose is looking at it. I see no facial gestures though. So I can't, he's got a poker face. I can't tell like what the reaction is. But for me, it has this, and when I say cinematic, I mean where it's kind of luscious and has depth to it and character, and there's something very, very unique about it. So often I'll tell people, it's like, well, you could do X, Y, or Z in post-processing and get that same look.
Yeah.
The Noctilux is one of those lenses, and we've said this a million times, that you can't replicate it. You cannot replicate the look that you get from a Noctilux. But I feel, especially, let's say, historically with the 50s, which has been the only Noctiluxes around until Leica decided to just go crazy with Noctiluxes, right? A few years ago. There's always been that compromise that it's not as sharp as a Summicron. It's, a little bit harder to focus, and it's a little unwieldy because of the size and the weight. The 35 has now changed that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it really, in a lot of ways, redefines the usability factor of a Noctilux, which is normally a lens lineup, like you're saying, that's traditionally comes with more compromises. Now, the compromises made it fun, and that challenge made the results much more rewarding. But the 35 Noctilux, in a lot of ways, is a game changer. Now, it's not an inexpensive game changer. Let's address that.
But they never are, right?
But because of how incredibly exotic it is, how difficult it is to make, the engineering that goes into it, it is a lens that I think will be probably very hard to get for some time, and I'm excited to see what people start doing with it when it really hits the mainstream. Because I remember, of course, back in the day how long the waiting list was for a 0.95.
Sure.
those days are a little bit, those are not bad now with the new factory and all this stuff. But, now it's pretty cool actually to realize how many 0.95s are out there and how many people are making amazing images with it.
Sure.
And seeing those results and going, yeah, that kind of validates everything that we've been espousing for years and years.
To give you
years.
some idea of, and some perspective, the 0.95 has been around since the M9.
Before the M9.
Has been around since the M8.
The
Oh my
M8,
God.
yeah.
Since the
The
M8.
M8.
Yeah. Oh, because they made a 60 millimeter UV-IR.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, the 0.95 is
M8.
It's easy to forget how long it's been around. Now we've seen all kinds of special editions and silver and black paint and all that stuff, but it's been around a long time. Now it's a lens that I adore and I still use all the time. I used it when I had it with me when I shot the 35. I had it with me at the last thing that I shot at. So, it's still a lens that, especially with the EV1, is even more relevant today, I think, than it was, let's say, 10 years ago.
Sure.
But there is a new standard that Leica has sort of uncovered, if you will, or I don't know the right word for that, but really I think starting with the 35 APO, maybe starting with the 50 APO, and then really being solidified with the 35 APO, and now
it's a new era of lenses
yes,
for Leica.
Yes. And not all lenses are like that. I'm saying they've created this new kind of category.
Yes.
I'm not going to say what I was calling it on the phone, but
I was like, I wanted to reach through the phone.
Yes, I know, but they're the new pinnacle of optical performance.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remember that these lenses are performing at that level while being extremely well built,
Sure.
while being capable of resolving at least 60 megapixels on a very demanding sensor, while having beautifully geared aperture and focus rings and close focus functionality and all the things we expect, while also they fit in your hand.
I kind of wish you brought that cutaway
Which cutaway?
for the 28. But
Oh, yeah. We have the cool new cutaway at the Leica store. I didn't bring it.
Yeah.
I just take a hacksaw to here. I have a 35 Noctilux.
Yeah,
I'll just cut it
shot.
in half.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. But David, why don't you give us a little bit of overview of the lens physically, and then I'll do a few comparisons.
I'm gonna.
Are you gonna do something?
Yeah. Just against these guys because I have nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got the overhead. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all,
Is it raining in here?
is it,
You don't think it's raining?
is it raining? All right. So just for context, this is
The
the
beer cap's off.
35 APO-Summicron, and this one is well loved, right?
That's an understatement.
It's an F2, as you can see. It does have a focus tab, which is going to make sense in a minute when I talk about the other one. It's got a built-in screw, or not a built-in, but a screw-on lens shade. That's the lens by itself. It is extremely tiny. You can see just in the palm of my hand. And this, to be fair, this is the favorite child of mine, right?
320 grams.
Yeah. And there's the close focus range. And we do, as Josh said, we do have an entire episode, but a very long focus throw in that close focus range, as you can see here. Like pretty long.
0.3 meter.
Correct. Yep. Under 1 foot. So that's that. Now, moving up the range, we have the 35 Summilux, and this is the re-engineered one, and you can see because it has the close focus range, but it's much shorter throw, and that goes to 0.4 meters. And it also has a retractable screw-out lens shade, which is very handy. And again, what makes the conversation and the choice so difficult between these two lenses is there's not a lot of size difference. In practice, they behave very, very similarly in terms of function. And now we've got the new one.
The new one.
The new one, which is the 35 Noctilux. Let me make sure I'm in precise focus there.
That's good.
And you can see, just like the 35 Summilux, it has that same kind of design language with the retractable shade, screw out shade. And when we go into the close focus range, you'll see we go past 0.7 meters right here. And we go into that close focus range, but it's much shorter throw, more akin to the Summilux than it is to the Summicron. So that's kind of worth mentioning. And notably, it does not have a focus tab on the underside of this lens. Now, historically, the 50 Noctilux doesn't have it, but historically, almost every 35 has had a focus tab. So this is a bit of a departure. And there's a reason for the lack of the focus tab. I'm going to borrow, that one has a little bottom thing. I'm just going to use this one here. Just going to throw it on this M11 monochrome here, just so you can see on the camera. It really is very compact, close to the body. Focus is where you want it to be. so you can hold on to it pretty easily. But when I put this down, it's hard to see from that angle, but if I hold it up here, you will,
like that, yeah.
You will see the reason that there's no tab is because the lens is specifically sized to fall even with the base plate, so that when you rest it on a flat surface, it's not propped up if you had a focus tab, or where you'd have to have the focus tab to the side. On the smaller lenses, they get away with it because the diameter is ever so slightly smaller. To give you an idea, also, when we're talking about these lenses, another way historically that we identify M lenses is by their filter diameter. So for the 35 Summicron, we have 39 millimeter. For the Summilux, we have 46 millimeter. And for the Noctilux, we have 49 millimeters, which coincidentally is the exact same as the Q3. So a lot of people have filters for their Q3s. And also, if we're talking about M lenses, it's also the same filter diameter as the 75 Summicron F2, APO-Summicron F2.
And the 28 Summilux and some other ones. But yes, and the, the 51.2 Noctilux is an E49 as well.
Oh, that's right.
So,
well, the original wasn't. But,
no, the original level had no filter.
The reissue.
Yes, the reissue. Yes, what I mean is
we have to always qualify these things.
That's right.
Like, the original 51.2.
So I want to.
Yeah.
The handling wise, I would say it feels kind of just like a 35 Summilux that had a big dinner.
And no tab.
With no tab, yes. It had a big dinner and it got neutered, basically.
Wow.
They at first you miss it, but then you get used to it. What I will say is I've handled a couple of these so far, and I don't know what specifically changed, but there's something different about the mechanics of the focus ring, the aperture ring, and the lens hood that just feels better than any M lens I've ever used. I don't know how to explain it better than that. It's just
You were talking about that in terms of the detents.
Feel that the aperture detents, the focus, even the hood action, they just feel better. And I'm guessing there's just been some updates
to manufacturing,
the manufacturing process of this new lens, and hopefully we see that new lenses going forward. It really is extremely pleasurable to use. I've shot with it a lot now in the past week or so, and it's kind of addicting because it's so nice to use. I mean, just forget about the pictures, forget about the performance, just using it is really, really, really nice.
Clearly some thought was put into the ergonomics and the balance.
Yeah, and you'll notice, if I can get my close up here, there is, here we go, a little cutout right here. Hard to see. That is so you can access the lens release button on the camera. Because otherwise, if this was not here, I'll show you, it would be difficult. See how you kind of like, let's see if I can show this here. It's tough because it's so dark. But you kind of like put your finger in there. And so this allows you, this little cutout that you can see.
That's very cool.
Allows you to, yeah. So
I actually did not notice that.
Yes. Yeah. If Javier, if you're watching, he pointed this out to me. So
that is really neat.
I didn't notice it either. Somebody.
Subtle design choices.
Yes. So thank you, nice. Javier, for showing us that. So it's not perfectly symmetrical. There's that little cutout to allow you to, I'll just keep that here.
Sure.
To take it off the camera easily. Again, E49 filter size, it is 416 grams. So
100 grams heavier.
Not quite. So it's 338 grams for the FLE.
Okay.
So 78 grams heavier. So not a lot. You know, one of the questions we got was, is the lens too heavy? Now, of course, I'll say it depends, but I think if you're used to an APO, which is 320 grams, this will feel denser. It will pull the camera forward a little bit more. Not anywhere near that of a Noctilux for sure, but generally one doesn't gravitate towards a Noctilux if lightweight and compactness are your objectives. You would either go with the Summicron or the APO-Summicron. So just thinking about that, it is, if you're thinking about making it your daily lens, you definitely want to try to get your hands on one and put it around your neck and kind of walk around with it.
Now, I'm going to ask you this. So obviously I'm holding this on a M11 monochrome, which M11s, unless you have a silver one, are lighter.
Yes.
But as we discussed, the EV1, the MAV1, is significantly lighter than a black M11. And the lens is larger than a Summilux.
Yeah.
So I know in your testing, you've been using it on the MAV1.
Yes.
Now, how does it feel when we switch it over from a traditional M body onto the EV1? Do you find that it becomes more front heavy?
It's funny because when I use the EV1, I always have it set up just like this with the hand grip and the thumb support.
It doesn't feel.
So number one, I'm offsetting any additional weight savings between the EV1 and the M11. But number two, I'm dramatically improving the ergonomics, at least for me. Obviously, everybody's hands and handling will be different.
Objectively, I would say
I didn't
this
notice
feels
it.
very
Yeah.
nicely balanced.
I think you would notice it if you had an EV1 with no hand grip and no thumb support, or at least no hand grip.
Let's see.
And you were used to an APO,
Right.
or a regular cron, and you put this on there. If you really shot with that setup a lot and you switched it, you would feel it. I don't think it's dramatic. I think just a slightly wider neck strap may offset it. It's definitely nowhere near the difference between using a 50 Summilux and a 0.95 Noctilux. That difference is much more significant. The Noctilux 0.95 50 is considerably more challenging to use daily to go on long walks with than the 35 Noctilux is. Or even, if you want to get into craziness, the 75 Noctilux, which is a monster.
I've as you're talking about that,
Yes.
I'm trying. I was slowly undressing the camera.
Yes.
Yes. So, it feels good in every configuration.
Yeah.
I would actually say that the lower weight, the lighter weight of the MEV1 kind of equalizes it. So it almost feels, with the 35 Noctilux on here, has a very similar feel of a 35 Summilux on a regular M11 body.
Okay.
That it's almost...
Yeah, it's probably a very similar weight.
It's almost the same exact weight because the savings...
It is by far the most usable Noctilux.
Yeah, you give it a shot.
I mean, I can feel the weight a little bit.
Try that. And then I think it's going to be almost identical.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
There is a little more front weight. I mean, but having shot with this lens a lot now, I mean, relatively speaking, a lot, but I don't notice it, especially with the hand grip on the EV1 and the thumb support, which is how I always use it. I could definitely see this being a daily lens for some people. Now, of course, once we get into the performance and what it does and what it doesn't do, that may be different for everyone. But purely from a handling standpoint, factoring out everything else, I think this can be a daily lens unless you really are going for an ultra lightweight travel kit, which is a very valid setup. We're talking about EV1, 35 Cron, or even a 35 Summit.
Well, I didn't compare against
or
this.
steel rim, like a little guy, that's a different ballgame altogether. But I think for the average, person who's just doing normal photography in a non-strenuous environment where the last nth gram is not an issue, yes, I do think this could be a lens you shoot with every day. I mean, I want one. I have to shout out Leica Camera USA and Nathan and Keith and Joseph and the whole team there for making sure that we had this lens for the show and also for the testing that I did because they are...
And it was so generous of them to just let us keep it.
I know, right? Thanks, guys. They didn't know that we're keeping it, but
But now we're informing you.
That's right.
For the magic of the internet.
Because these are very hard to get. We don't have one on display and demo in the store. We don't have any. Obviously, the supply, like with any major lens, is going to be very tight. Now, I don't think... or hope it will. I don't hope it's, how do I say this? I hope it's not the same multi-year wait that we had to wait for the 35 APO.
As every other major lens introduction?
I don't think so. I think because of the technology that they've implemented here, I think, I hope the supply will
Speaking of which, that's a great segue.
Oh, I love segues.
Can you talk a little bit about, hopefully, you can talk a little about it.
Yes.
There is a new technology under the hood here.
Yes.
I know you touched on kind of the fineness of the mechanics, but also there is some new optical technology called precision glass molding.
Yes, or PGM, as you'll see in the abbreviations. And this lens has 3 aspherical elements, which I believe is the first time they've ever done it. The double aspherical 35 millimeter, which we'll get to in a bit, has 2 aspherical elements, and so does the original 1.2 Noctilux. 35 Noctilux has 3 aspherical elements. Now, aspherical elements are very difficult to make, especially when the shapes get more complex, and they are really trying to control spherical aberration and coma and chromatic aberration and all of those things that all these lenses are designed to manage.
Which, by the way,
get
exponentially more difficult as the aperture increases.
Correct. So the only way you can offset that is by making the lens much larger because you just need more glass in order to make more complex shapes.
Right.
Exactly. Leica has brought in-house this precision glass molding technology. They didn't invent it. It's not some brand new technology. They're just bringing it in-house, which uses a mold of graphite tungsten, I think it is. I forget. That it's heated to like 700 degrees Celsius, extremely hot.
Because it's Europe.
Yes, 700 degrees Celsius. And they actually mold superheated glass. So the glass isn't molten, it's just soft. And they mold it. So The mold is the complicated part in the sense that they have to make it down to this, I think it said 3 nanometers per
millimeter. Yes, 3 nanometers per millimeter.
I think human hair is like 70 nanometers, so it's like, think about that.
It's ridiculously high precision.
Extremely high precision molds, because the mold is what matters here, because the shape and the precision of the mold is what determines the shape and the precision of the glass. So they heat up the glass, they heat up the mold, they go, I'm just assuming they just smash them together like this.
They make them diamonds.
And what's really cool is that the hard part is understanding what's going to happen to the glass when it cools.
Right.
So by bringing this in-house, doing this in Wetzlar and investing in this extremely complicated technology, they can study all the mechanisms of the glass as it cools so that by the time the shape hardens and it's final, it's exactly the shape that they want, which allows them to do extremely complex designs, extremely precisely with no grinding, no chipping, no any kind of machine tooling. They only just they have to polish it.
Yeah.
It allows them to do it in extremely small, extremely repeatable. Now, of course, the molds are very expensive and they don't last forever. So that's another thing that makes this technology difficult, is having to use the mold until it no longer, you have all kinds of meteorological instruments to determine whether the mold is in tolerance or not. I would love to see this in person. I'm like dying to get to Wetzlar.
I'm sure we will.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea here is to make a spherical element as effective as possible, as consistently as possible, and as small as possible. So all of those things were not possible without this precision glass molding technology. So the 3 spherical elements inside of the 35 Noctilux use this PGM tech, and it results in a lens that gives you extremely high performance, which you'll see, extremely controlled spherical aberration, coma, chromatic aberration, vignetting, distortion, etc. When I say controlled, I think this is really important to understand. What Noctiluxes are designed to do, as I mentioned earlier, is give you a Noctilux look. Now, it's not just about sharpness. That's what the APOs are for. It's not about day-to-day practicality. That's what the Summilux-s are for. It's about the Noctilux look. And the Noctilux look comes from managing the sharpness in the center, the fall-off in the corners, the vignetting, the bokeh, the quality of the bokeh. The more control you have over your light entering the lens, the more through your A-spheres, meaning the more control you have over spherical aberration, the more control you have over all of those variables. So what Leica has been able to do is make a lens that is undeniably a Noctilux in the way that it performs, but that is so close in size to a 35 Summilux, like I said earlier, that you can actually, I think, use it day to day.
As a daily driver, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long explanation.
No, that's really fantastic. And if I am not mistaken, which I don't think I am, so the chief designer of this lens, we know for a number of years. His name is Dietmar Stubel. And he is also the optical engineer behind the, I would say, the reference level APO-Summicron SL lenses. So he was the head designer on the APO-Summicron SLs and actually of all of the SL lens lineup. So it's interesting to kind of see him take some of the technical, I don't want to say perfection, but technical optical approaches that were pioneered with the SL system and bring some of that into the M line. And I think that's why we're seeing this new generation of lens technology.
Yeah. It's awesome.
There is definitely, well, Leica is not like, oh, well, this system's over here and this system's over there.
Right.
I think this is something that Leica does exceptionally well, which is, and we see it in the cameras, right? We see it from the Q influencing the M, which then influences the SL, which then influences the next M, and there's kind of round and round in terms of their just continual evolutionary process. And I think we see that in optics as well, because all of the advancements they've been able to make, we talked about this, the advances they made in the S lenses led to the SL lenses. Well, and also the TL lenses, interestingly enough. So the S and the TL lenses led to the SL lenses, and they developed a lot of technology, a lot of optical performance there. And now we're seeing that kind of spill back into the historical mainstream, which is the M line.
One question I want to answer, and I'm laughing a little bit because when the 35 APO came out, 2021, one of the questions that we got was, when is it going to come out in silver? Is Leica going to make one in silver? I'm going to wait for the silver one. Well, it's 5 years later and there ain't no silver. Unless you spray painted yours, and if you did, I'd love to see it. I know there's questions in the chat, and I've gotten questions from customers already. When and if they're going to do this in silver. A, we have no idea.
No idea.
B, it's not coming anytime soon. This lens is going to be hard to get for a while. I can't imagine anytime soon seeing a silver one. It would be sweet. I mean, I personally want one in solid brass with black paint.
Oh gosh!
But
please don't say things out loud. I mean, look. How about the 75 Noctilux? What other finishes can you get in that?
The beat up finish that when you use it. But no, you're correct. So I don't know if they're going to make one in silver. I wouldn't hold your breath for it. I mean, if you only have silver lenses and you get offered a 35 Noctilux and you pass because it's black, please call me because I'll take it. Sure. That's all I will say about that. So
yeah, why don't we pause to take some questions? We've been talking.
Yes, we're going to take some questions, and then I have a super duper exciting new product launch. I'm not even exaggerating. It is amazing. Super secret.
It's very small, right?
It's very small, but very awesome. But yes.
You can take it everywhere, right?
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Okay.
Jose, what questions, other than ones that comparing, because obviously we're going to get
to that.
Yeah, that's the only questions we got.
Everyone's like, but how does it compare?
That's what they all want to know. Just buy one. You find out
When
for
is
yourself.
something else gonna come out and what the difference is and Apple or this? I mean, it's It's,
Yeah, I mean, yes, we will be comparing those things and do our best to explain not only how they compare performance-wise, but how you would choose each one of those things and where they fit in your lens catalog. So we'll get there in a few minutes.
Yeah.
they're asking about your watches too.
We'll get there as well. But that's related to what we're going to talk about today. I have some news. We have some news to talk about. Couple things. First, before I forget to mention, since you know I love lens caps, there is a new lens cap for the 35 Noctilux. This is not the product right now.
This is not the product.
I have not found anything else that it fits on. I've only tried it on a couple lenses. It's an aluminum push-on lens cap. If we could just quickly show it, just so I can demonstrate to the folks at home. Literally just pushes. Oop, that is an FLE. Well, see, it doesn't fit on an FLE. There we go.
My gosh.
There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Anyway, it's 12488 is the product code. So if you ever wanted a push-on lens cap, Noctilux, well, I guess there's a few of them already. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Again, I don't know what else it fits on. It doesn't fit on the FLE. It doesn't fit on a 75. Oh, does it fit on a 75 APO? I haven't tried this yet. Let's see. Here we go.
What do you got?
World first.
Okay.
It does not fit on a 75 APO. Nope. Okay. I will keep trying until I find, because I know everyone loves the metal push-on caps.
Not as much as you.
Some exciting things going on. First, as you may have noticed, on our wrists are some super sweet Leica watches. Now, we did a show on the Leica watches a couple years ago, but there's more.
I think it was last year.
It was last year. Whatever it was.
Whatever. Don't get complicated.
If you want to see the Leica watches, you want to learn about the Leica watches, you want to have them on your wrist, March 5th, Thursday, March 5th, at Leica Miami in Coral Gables, Florida. Join us for a very special afternoon evening, celebrating Leica watches. We have two cool events happening. We have Brett Curry, the super well-known and amazing photographer.
Make that window a little bigger. More bigger to the same size of the Lightroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they want to go to the computer. Please. There it is. Okay. March 5th, 4:30 p.m., Brett Curry is going to give an awesome talk about photographing watches, and he'll take plenty of questions as well. And he's a super experienced photographer, really talented watch photographer, super cool dude as well. So we're excited about that. Then we're going to have, speaking of snacks, we're going to have some snacks. We're going to have some drinks, light refreshments, as they say. Sadly, probably no pigs in a blanket this year, but next year. And then, so that's 4:30 to 5:30. And then from 6 to 7, we have, where is his? I'm going to get his name wrong. Heinrich Ekdahl, who is the managing director of the Leica watch brand for Leica Global. He will be here, and I will be moderating a panel discussion between myself, Heinrich, and Brett. So if you want to ask questions to the top brass of the Leica watches, or to the best watch photographer Leica has, or to this guy who just rambles on YouTube, please join us. Jose, do you have that link, or you want me to drop it in?
I sent it. Yeah.
Right, so make sure you RSVP. That's really important.
Because space is limited.
Space is limited. Obviously, this is going to be a really cool event. We want to make sure that everyone who comes gets a chance. And we will be raffling off a new Leica Sofort 2 at the end. So you have to stay until 7, and then we will pick someone to win a new Leica Sofort 2. So it's not quite as exciting as winning a 35 Noctilux, but it's better than nothing. And plus, you get food and booze. So Thursday, March 5th, Leica watches. 2 events, 4:30 to 5:30, Brett Curry, Watch Photography Talk. 6 o'clock to 7 p.m., Heinrich, Brett, and myself, panel discussion on the Leica watches. We've got about 8 or 9 different Leica watches on display. You can try them on with all the different straps and bracelets. Get a little wrist time with them. It's going to be really, really cool. Then the following week is our next gallery opening. Jean-Pierre Lafont, who is a photographer who has been around for a very long time with an incredibly diverse back catalog of iconic images. His gallery opening at Leica Store Miami. He will be there with his book, signing books if you would like that. 7 o'clock on Thursday, March 12th. So we got 2 really, really cool events happening at Leica Store Miami coming up with Thursday, March 5th and Thursday, March 12th. So if you want to hang out with us, geek out about watches. There's one more event happening a little bit later, which I teased on the last show.
But it's really happening.
And now it's really happening. 2018 was the last time that we did this, and obviously a lot has changed since then. But we used to have a series of workshops called the Leica Bootcamp series, and what they were 2 or 3 day programs that were as deep of a deep dive as you could get into a particular camera model. So SL, Q, M10, whatever. Well, over the last month, I have worked tirelessly to bring the bootcamp program back to life. And of course, I'm starting with the M11 system. So if we go to our website here and I pull up our Miami workshops, let's see, here we go. Jose, if you want to learn more about your M11, M11P, M11D, M11 monochrome, M11 anything, or your MEB1, if you want to learn every single thing there is to know and some things that there aren't to know, 3 days with me, locked in a room, there will be food, maybe bathroom breaks.
Pigs in a blanket?
Pigs in a blanket. M11 Bootcamp. This is revamped, revitalized. I am taking it to a crazy high level with exercises, really, really good food, really good company. It's limited to 8 people. So this is a very small group. We will be learning about shooting the rangefinder, the viewfinder, live view, EVF, menu, custom functions, user profiles, every single thing. But the goal being that you become so proficient with your M11 or whatever M11 version you have that it simply disappears and you can focus purely on the act of photography. So this is not a shooting workshop. This is not a casual, have fun and chat workshop. This is an intensive 3-day program dedicated to any M11 generation camera in Miami, Florida, in Coral Gables, hosted at the beautiful Westin Colonnade, which is this incredible hotel just 1 block away from Leica Store Miami as well. So which means, of course, you'll have some super private secret shopping time at the Leica Store after hours. So spend 3 days with me, absolute crazy deep dive. I mean, the amount of money you've invested in your Leica gear is significant, especially if you're watching this show, I can only imagine. So take a little bit of time, a little bit more of that hard-earned dollars and put it into yourself, the training, the education, and the inspiration. Because this is not just about teaching you how to change some settings, it's about getting you truly excited about a very capable piece of equipment.
But Josh, it's so hard to remember all this information.
That's really sad. Well, this bootcamp is going to have something that we've not done before.
Right.
Which is it will be professionally recorded. It will not be streamed, not be posted online. It will not be shared to anyone other than the individuals who come. So I realize that if you think I talk this much in 2 hours, imagine how much I throw out in 3 days. That's why we're going to record the workshop. I'll be mic'd up. Everything that I talk about will be given. You'll have access to that. So you can rewind, replay, pause, play it at 0.5x, whatever. So you do not have to come there and memorize everything. I'll also give out an M11 cheat sheet, which is going to be a whole menu guide. It's going to be really, really cool. I am extremely excited about it. I have been working like crazy to put together a program that is just next level.
I really couldn't tell that you're excited about this.
I'm very excited about it. Okay, so now you've sat through all the boring stuff.
But we can talk about the watches. Let's show the watches.
Oh, we should talk. Okay, yeah. What do we got?
You want to go first?
Overhead? Yeah, of course I want to go first.
Maybe, yeah.
Overhead? There we go. I got the ZM2, oh, it's so hard to show. The ZM2 monochrome. I'm sorry, it's got so much.
Because it's all black also.
I know, right? It's the black PVD buckle. Sweet.
Super
Okay, David's
nice.
turn. David's turn.
Mine. I like this one because it really goes with my shirt. So this is the ZM11 blue in a stainless steel with the black rubber buckle. And I do love the nice, solid, chunky clasp there. Super nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, this one
Looks
is
so
really nice.
good.
I think it's, I mean, blue and blue is
Oh,
like
yeah, look at that. So coordinated. I love
so
it.
coordinated. So coordinated. Yeah, this is a sharp watch.
Yeah.
So
So that's really cool. So we've got watch event, gallery opening, and a super intensive, super fun M11 workshop. So please join us in Miami for one of those three things or all of those three things. In fact, I'll give you a little punch card. So if you, at the end of the year, you win a free sandwich or something. Okay, now.
what do you got? Is it over there?
It's
or
not, it's almost not, I have it here.
Okay.
A couple years ago, we have our Red Dot Wear. Red Dot Wear is our in-house swag brands. Shirts, hats, beanies.
I think we showed one up.
Pins.
The new design on the last
We've
show.
talked about it
Yeah.
ad nauseum. A couple years ago, we came out with this little peek, which is,
You can't see that.
so let's go overhead view here.
I think we need like 8K for
Our
that.
Pewter M3 keychain. Now, we
So
did
cute.
this a couple years ago. Super successful, super cool, very unique. Last year, we upped the ante. And on one of our shows, we launched this puppy, which of course sold out instantly. This was the black paint over brass version of the M3 keychain. Super, super cool. They're individually numbered. This one is number 000 because I'm cool like that. Now, of course, these sold out right away, and we literally launched it on the show. So I decided that was really cool. I'm like, what else could I do? We've done the silver, we've done the black paint. What's left? Here it is.
Here it is.
Here we go. Are you ready
Drum roll, please.
for the coolest keychain you've ever seen in your entire life? Here we go. M3 Olive.
Nice.
Now, if you're familiar with the sort of Leica backstory, or if you're not, yes, we have the Leica M3 in silver. Yes, we have the black paint. But rarer than the black paint, way rarer than the silver, is the M3 Olive. Now, there's a name which I promised I would say. It's the Bundeseigentum. Bundeseigentum. Yeah, that's it. Basically, it means federal property or government property. So this was, the All M3s were commissioned by the German government in the 50s. They made less than 300. We have made and commissioned 100 individually hand-painted, individually numbered, solid brass keychains painted in the olive green with the matching silver accents. Again, every single thing you see on here is hand-painted by a person in Canada, maybe more than one person, I don't know. Individually numbered 001 through 100.
Raise it up so it's in focus.
Oh,
There you go.
These are sick. Again, it's solid brass. It will patina over time, just like the black paint, just like the real thing. So if you want just an absolutely incredible little doodad, this is sick. This one's mine. You can't have number one. So I'm going to make it live on the website right now.
Like literally
Right now. I'm doing it as we speak.
Wow.
Here we go. Jose, do you have the link? You want me to drop it in the chat?
And it's live.
What?
Drop it.
Want me to do it?
Operators are standing by.
All right. If you want a super sweet, wait a minute.
What did you just do?
Oh, I hit the wrong button. No, we're good.
Oh no.
Everything's fine. Here we go. Making it live.
Yep. Checking it twice.
There we go. No, I put the right link. I almost put the wrong link in the chat. Oh, it's live. Okay, here we go.
It's on the
Boom.
website.
There it is.
There it is.
You see it, Jose, right?
Yep.
So, only 100 individually numbered.
You can show the screenshot now.
Oh, yeah. Go to the screen. There we go. Hey, there it is. So I wrote up a little story about it, about the manufacturing process, about the dimensions, and all the other cool things. So we can even see our lovely Jose modeling in here in this shot with the super cool ZM12 in olive green.
Nice.
So if you want the ultimate follow-up to our black paint keychain, these things were insanely difficult to get made. I had to send them back because they didn't do enough silver. Again, all hand-painted, all solid brass, all individually numbered.
Nice.
I don't think it gets cooler than this. So
Nice.
yes. Now that you're excited about, I'll give the people a few minutes to order their.
Really?
I feel like I'm on QVC. Like, order now. I mean,
Operators.
there's only 100, and you can only get them from here.
And if you act now, you don't get a set of steak knives.
Tell you when you come to the M3 or the MLF boot camp, maybe I'll give you one for a slight discount.
With everything left.
That's right. I'll have to hold some back. So yes, the cool new addition to the Red Dot Wear brand is our new M3 Olive Bundeseigentum.
And they're sold out.
They're not sold out yet. They'll last at least a couple of days. We have 100, so it's going to take some time.
All
Now,
right. Can we go back to Jose, see if there's any questions?
What do we have to talk about? Now we're done, right?
Yeah, no, bye. No, Jose.
Same questions from earlier that we still
Oh, nothing, really.
Nobody wants to see how the lens compares to other lenses.
I guess
We're done.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
we're
going
working
early. We gotta get a beer. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, now I'm kidding. I'm well aware that anytime a new Leica lens comes out, the questions are always, how does it compare to X, Y, and Z? I spend a significant amount of time in the last week,
At least 5 minutes.
at least 5 minutes, dedicated to trying to answer, really, I think, two core questions comparatively. How does the 35 Noctilux compare to the 35 Summilux FLE, FLE2 in this case? And how does it compare to the 35 APO-Summicron? And the metrics that I'm looking at are sharpness, center, and across the frame, the corners, bokeh, both inside and outside, close focusing, because they all focus at different distances, and a few sort of offshoots, like how it performs at infinity, things like lens flare, chromatic aberration, and all the other things that manifest in the kind of photography that we do every day. So I think we should dive into it.
Yeah, let's go.
We've got our Lightroom situation going here.
Minimize the top bar there.
This one?
Yeah.
Bloop. There we go.
And
Hold on. I'm going to do... Here we go.
Nice.
No, I'll keep that up there, actually.
Yeah,
I
I think so.
Okay. First things first. This is obviously a very tedious, very meticulous, very time-consuming set of testing. How did I do it? In the past, I've shot everything on the SL3. However, between the last time I had to do lens testing and today, there's something new that came out, which is the MEV1. A game changer for this kind of work and a game changer for this lens. I am obsessed with this camera, perhaps unhealthily obsessed. The viewfinder is so good. The user experience feels so natural because obviously we've shot M's for years.
Sure have.
Yes, I love the SL and I will always be an SL guy, but using the MEV1 and the 35 Noctilux was a dream. If you were to look through my whole take, you would see like a 1% or less focus, out of focus images, meaning like with an M11.
With the testing, you mean?
Right, with the rangefinder, you know, it was much more difficult. The positivity that you get, the reinforcement you get from that incredibly crisp view, that viewfinder, it's amazing. So EV1, game changer, but this is not an EV1 episode, this is a lens episode.
We did an EV1 episode.
We did an EV1 episode.
And I think it's worth touching on.
Yes.
When we first did the MEV1 episode,
Yes.
I had used the MEV1.
Yes.
You hadn't used it yet.
Correct.
And we were like, well, is it an M? Is it not an M? Now that you've used it?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It is, when you see that, I have some real world images to show, not just test
Yeah.
images, and you see those,
Which are really nice.
I'll get into it more. But for now, let's try to answer some of those pesky little questions.
Lingering
that
questions.
y'all have. Okay, Jose, computer, please.
All right.
It is a tree. Wow, look at that tree.
Oh, make that a little taller because it's killing me.
Which
That
taller?
You see the bottom there.
I see.
Yeah. There we go.
That
yeah.
better?
Yeah, it makes all the difference. Sorry, it's like my OCD.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. The first test that I did is a bokeh test. This is not a sharpness test, by the way. So if I zoom in on the tree and it's a little softer between lenses, just ignore that. This is a test of bokeh, of how out of focus things compare between the two lenses. So the first thing I would like to do is show you guys how these do wide open. Just gonna use my little filter here. So let's get right to the good stuff. So on the left, 35 Noctilux at f1.4. Now, you may be watching the show and saying, but Josh, the Lightroom says it's f3.4. You're lying. You're trying to deceive all of us. You're so biased. No, as you might remember, there is no mechanical or electronic connection between the aperture setting on an M lens and the M camera. The camera will do its best to guess the aperture you've used based on the shutter speed, ISO, and the light meter reading. However, especially in very tricky lighting conditions like the one I'm in right now, it often guesses wrong. So you can simply ignore the aperture value that is here. I am telling you, since I took these pictures yesterday, what aperture, or 2 days ago, whatever, what aperture they are at. So these two images are wide open. Now, on the left, we have the 35 Noctilux. On the right, we have the 35 Summilux FLE version 2. You can already see that there are some differences, but let's zoom right into the middle, or the big old pile of lights here. Now, If you had told me that there were just a third of a stop difference between these two lenses, I would say, no, that's at least 2/3 of a stop to a stop. Look at how, I'm pointing at the screen like you can see. Look at how
Point with the other hand.
yeah, look at how soft and delicate the out of focus, the bokeh balls are, if you will. The way they just kind of melt into each other, the way the edges are soft, the transitions are really, really smooth. Beautiful. Now, these are very well controlled on the Summilux. Now, you may prefer that look. There's no right answers here. But it's fascinating to observe just how much crisper and more defined, sharper, if you will, the bokeh areas are on the FLE compared to the 35 Noctilux. As we start to get off to the edge of the frame, you'll see here things are just getting a little frenetic, a little bit, scattered because everything is so clearly defined. It really gets smoothed out on the Noctilux.
Interesting. They're almost like rounded rectangles on the Noctilux at the very edge.
Yeah, on the very edge. Yeah. And that's a Noctilux look. That's a characteristic of the Noctiluxes.
That's pretty wild.
So let's kind of move over here.
So very round in the center and almost and getting more squared off on the sides.
Again, look at the blue lights or whatever you want to call them. I mean, the difference is huge in terms of how these are being rendered in the background. Also, what's interesting is if we start to look here.
Oh, you can see it, yeah.
Here we have some coma showing, which is like that smearing you see.
And some chromatic aberration too.
And chromatic aberration as well. So you're seeing two things on the Summilux, which is one, chromatic aberration, which is this purple fringing you see around these very bright Christmas lights. And you're also seeing some coma happening here, which is where things are just starting to smear a little bit in the corners. And this is really due to the PGM technology and the 3 spherical elements in the Noctilux, which are really responsible for controlling aberrations like coma and chromatic aberration. So even though there are some things the FLE does better, which you'll see a little bit later, you can see where the Noctilux really shines. I mean, just look at the difference here. Like this, like if you look at this one, now you're still getting a little bit of chromatic aberration. Like it's going to happen at a 1.2 lens, but quite a bit less, and there's almost no coma. Really, really, really spectacular performance from the 35 Noctilux. Now I want to compare that to the 35 APO. Just make sure I have the right, whoops, nope. Okay. Sorry, there's so many lenses here to compare. There we go. Okay. Now let's take a look at the 35 Noctilux, which is still on the left, to the 35 APO, which is on the right, which is also at F2, despite it saying F8. I can assure you it was not taken at F8 because I took it myself.
It is notable, by the way. I mean, you can see that's a pretty sizable difference in aperture between 0.4 seconds and a 1/12 of a second. And that's at base ISO, but as you ramp up through the ISO range, so let's say that I was at a more like you went out there at 800 or 1000 ISO, I mean, that's a pretty significant difference in shutter speed too, which is, I guess, historically why there was Noctilux lenses, right? It was for that faster aperture. So look aside, also pay attention to the shutter speeds, which kind of reveals what the aperture really is.
This is a fascinating comparison.
Yeah.
So again, on the left, 35 Noctilux at 1.2.
Wow.
On the right, 35 APO-Summicron at f2, so both wide open. What you're seeing here in the bokeh balls is actually because the lens is so good. The more corrected you are for spherical aberration, the sharper you are, and the more spherical elements you have, especially traditionally manufactured ones, not PGM, the more you get what's called this onion ring effect inside of the bokeh balls, where they look almost like dirty. What you're actually seeing is that's the surface of the aspherical elements that are ground. It's words are hard.
You're doing great.
So the onion rings here, the way that the character of the bokeh balls is actually indicative of an extremely high performance lens in this case, which makes sense because that's what 35 APO-Summicron is all about. So if we poke around a little bit more, we'll see it manifest here. We can get typical Noctilux bokeh, but
no chromatic aberration.
I mean, literally no chromatic aberration.
At all.
I can't imagine how difficult it is to make a lens to shoot wide open at f2 with no chromatic aberration, no purple fringing, or at least
it's also a true APO.
Yes. So again, 35 Noctilux on the left, 35 APO-Summicron on the right.
And very crispy.
Yeah, again, sharpness, don't necessarily judge sharpness here because this is not a sharpness test because I may be slightly off in the focus. It's pitch black. This is a bokeh test. This is a chromatic aberration test, a coma test. But significantly more depth of field, A lot more starring happening here. We can see the rays.
At F2, you're getting stars. Yeah.
Yeah, again, wide open. So if you're after that character that just, like I said, David says, cinematic magic, obviously you go with the Noctilux, but you're accepting the Noctilux for its imperfections because that's what a Noctilux is all about. Now, just for fun, excuse me, let me just make sure I get my right data here. Here we go. If you ever wanted to know how a 35 Noctilux compares to the legendary 35 Summilux ASPH double spherical,
Ooh.
this is how. Now, you can see, of course, one is a lens that is from the 80s and one is a lens that's from like 2 weeks ago. So they're going to be dramatically different. The double spherical has a character all unto itself. It actually performs far better than a lens from the late 80s should. But of course, it's still nowhere near the control.
Whoa.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That is what I call vintage Summilux Bokeh right there. Highly corrected vintage Summilux Bokeh. Corrected in a good way, meaning it's high performance. But definitely a very, very different character than the Noctilux 35. So if we zoom out again, I'm just going to go to the main image here. Oop. This look is what you get when you use a Noctilux, where you get this incredibly soft, delicate, controlled background. It's not overly defined. It's not overly frenetic and squiggly, but it's smooth. The roll-offs are gentle. The highlights flow into each other really, really nicely. Let's take a look. This one is a little bit different.
The lights are larger and further away. Yeah.
Let's see here. Let me just go to wide open. There we go. Because really, that's what we want to see. I can show top-down stuff, but I want to make sure I get through all the wide open magic. And this is fun because here we have Noctilux, Summilux. Noctilux, Summilux. Again, on paper, it's barely any difference between f1.2 and f1.4. Third of a stop or whatever.
But it looks like a lot more.
It looks like significantly more.
Looks like a full stop.
And not only is there less depth of field, but the character of the bokeh is marvelous. Again, it doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean it's better for everyone and every kind of photograph. Okay, this is Noctilux bokeh, Summilux bokeh. And then, of course, I actually threw in the steel rim just for fun. But now we're talking similar to the double spherical.
Yeah.
Vintage Summilux bokeh, which is another animal altogether. We're not going to get into that right now. We actually have a whole episode about bokeh, so watch that one. Here is the double spherical again, and the APO-Summicron. The APO is a fascinating comparison. Let's see here. I'm going to try to keep the Noctilux on the left for the sake of my sanity. Let's see here. I mean, again, you can see just how much crisper and more defined the areas of bokeh are on the APO, which could be great, especially if you're shooting in an iconic area like the skyline of New York City, where you actually want some of those things a little bit more defined, a little more identifiable, not so like vintage or wispy looking. That's where the bokeh of a lens like the APO comes into play. Let's see, here we go.
I like that red-green.
Yeah, it's a Heineken sign, but I was like, where's the Heineken sign? Like, well, they don't even know what that is. But yeah, you can see it's just like almost melting away into nothingness, where here there's clear differentiation between the two different, they're like, it's like a LED, looks like a fluorescent sign, but it's LED. So again, if you are looking for the absolute most magical, cinematic, surreal bokeh, Noctilux. If you're looking for the crispest, cleanest, least distracting, if you will, for lack of a better term, in terms of things becoming amorphous and ill-defined, get the APO. The Summilux splits the difference really, really nicely. And when we get to the sharpness test, you'll get some more insight there. Let's take a look at, since we're doing bokeh, this is pretty similar, so we'll skip that one. This is one that I do, this is an indoor bokeh test. Not as visually exciting as the lights, but still a fascinating. So we have, I'll just kind of go through them real quick. We have Noctilux, the spherical, or FLE2, APO, and then I threw in the double spherical just for fun. Just for fun. Yes.
Wow.
40 years of development, and that's what happens. Let's take a look at Noctilux first, because I think Noctilux versus Summilux is probably the one that comes to mind the most. This is taken inside of our lovely Leica store. You can, Leica Store Miami, by the way, which is us, by the way. Support us, please. Anyway, again, you can see just how things melt away with the Noctilux, even though it's only a third of a stop difference, how far less defined the edges of the bokeh balls are. Let me go to the sign here. you know, everything is just vanishes. Very, very smooth, very, very silky. These are like flowers back here, and then they just disappear. And let's go over here to the magazines. I know what these are. Like, this is a magazine rack. You know, again, this kind of bokeh is not for everyone. The Summilux bokeh is very controlled. It's very crisp. It's very defined. That can be very satisfying. It's very modern. It's very modern Summilux bokeh. I don't know how else to describe it. You can see it. So the Noctilux bokeh is a different animal. Again, some people love it, some people not. But I think we should get to this. The legendary bookshelf tests, which is the only way I've found to do this in any kind of timely manner because, you know, I have a day job. It's answering all your emails. But so what I do here is I set up these two big lights. I point them at our bookshelf. I line up all my test targets. Everything is on the same plane. And we look at center sharpness, off-axis center sharpness, and corner sharpness. And also we can check vignetting with this test. And this really lets me understand the differences in sharpness. This is about, I forget, 10, 15 feet away, I want to say. I forget. A distance that you would find yourself using this lens at. That's why I do it this way.
Like 3 to 5 meters?
Yeah, I think it's like 4 or 5 meters, if my memory serves. Yeah. I knew I should have written that down, but it's okay. So again, we like wide open for now. So let's take a look at some wide open.
Well, I think it is useful to see.
Well, I'm going to just stop down
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, this is I just didn't want to bog us down forever. I wanted to make sure I got through stuff, and then we can kind of bounce back through.
Yeah, because especially for sharpness.
Yeah.
You know, if this is going to be a daily driver and it's not going to just be a only shoot this wide open lens, how does it compare
right
through the aperture range, especially against those other lenses, to see how practical is this?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so just take it away.
Yeah, so let's take a look at, on the left, 35 Noctilux, on the right, 35 Summilux, wide open at f2. And we see the 35 Noctilux in the center is sharper. This is exactly what I expected to see because the 35 Noctilux is designed in a similar vein to the 75 Noctilux, which is incredibly sharp in the center and then falls off extremely quickly.
Not just incredibly. I mean, you're actually getting some moire because it's so sharp.
Yes, the 35...
the lens is out-resolving the sensor.
Yes, the 35 Noctilux is ridiculously sharp in the center. I mean, you can see it. 35 Summilux is no slouch, but the Noctilux is remarkable.
Not just the chart, but look just behind the chart, the texture of the actual surface of the bookshelf.
Yes,
like that is... And the tape. Like, the tape is always very telling,
the tape,
right?
Yes, the tape. Tell the tape here.
My gosh.
Now, as we go off-axis, I expect it still to be sharper because Noctilux is all about popping out from the center, from the point of focus. So we can see, so this is top center here, just so you guys have some context. 35 Noctilux is coming out ahead. Now, where things get interesting is when you go to the corners. Let's do that. Very telling. 35 Summilux FLE2, less distortion, sharper in the corners. And that's exactly what I expect from a lens like this. And the reason is simple. The Noctilux is designed to have a Noctilux look. That means a little bit more distortion, a little more vignetting, and a little bit softer corners. That's what you want from a Noctilux. You don't want your Noctilux to look like an APO. You want your APO to look like an APO. So what the 35 Noctilux is doing is giving you this mind-numbingly crazy, bitingly sharp center with this beautiful fall-off off-center into the corners. So if somebody says to me, well, Josh, how do I choose between a 35 Summilux and a 35 Noctilux? And I shoot my 35 Summilux wide open all the time. I do some architecture, some streetscapes, some cityscapes. I would say, well, if you want your corners to be a little bit on the sharper side and you want your image to be a little less distorted, get the FLE. And of course, you have the benefit of it being smaller and focusing closer. If you want that Noctilux magic, you get the Noctilux. And you're going to start hearing this a lot because the purpose of the lens is in the name. At least that's how I see it. But anyway. Let's take a look at, you want something really crazy, how the Noctilux compares to the 35 APO. Let me switch them. Here we go. On the left, 35 Noctilux. On the right, 35 APO, both wide open. Of course, we're looking at f1.2 versus f2. 35 APO is an unstoppable beast. So as powerful and amazing as all the superheated tungsten carbide molds that they use, the 35 APO is still better in the center. That lens,
shouldn't we though compare the Noctilux at f2?
We should and we will.
We should.
We will shortly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. 35 APO is 5 years old now. It is mind-blowing. And I don't use that lens enough. to be honest with you, because I'm always testing the new thing, and you guys are always asking me all these obscure questions.
I do.
David uses, I was getting there. David uses that all the time. David had to remind me, Josh, this is reference glass.
Yes.
This is the pinnacle of Leica M optical performance, and it is mind-blowing. Take a look at the corner. We'll look at the same top right corner. I mean,
Yeah.
wide open test target in the extreme corner at f2. That is wild. That is the APO look. That is the Noctilux look on the left, the APO look on the right. Let's take a look at a different corner just for fun. I mean, look at that.
Crazy.
Wow, so unbelievably sharp. Now, I do want to say, let's compare
F2 to
F2
F2.
to F2.
Yeah.
David's keyboard only somewhat works. There we go.
This is the studio keyboard, not my keyboard. I take no ownership of
I
this.
see how it is. I see. Okay, so now we're looking at, on the left, 35 Noctilux at f2, so it's stopped down. On the right, 35 APO, still wide open. So
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
now the centers are basically the same.
Yeah.
Let's take a look up here.
Wow.
Pretty much the same up here.
Looking
Let's take a
really
look at the
good.
corners. 35 APO is still better.
It is, yeah.
Which is what it's designed for.
But it sharpened up pretty considerably.
Oh, yes, it did. Yeah, I mean, you definitely lose some of the Noctilux magic at f2, but actually not all of it, because we're still getting those really pleasant soft corners.
Right.
Still getting a little bit of pin cushion, which is what we like. But very, very controlled. I mean, this is not an easy subject matter. This is very...
Right. But look at the APO. Wide open.
It's
Wide
so,
open. Wide open.
It's so good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just... So if we're going to compare the 35 APO-Summicron to the 35 Noctilux, they are so different in terms of size and weight, of course. Close focus, 0.5 meters
Versus 0.3.
0.3 meters. So much different close focus, and performance, bokeh, dramatically different. Now, if you put them both at f8, well, first of all, they just get a 35 Summicron, but the differences are negligible. But wide open or at f2, let's say f3, 5, f4, they are dramatically different lenses that serve dramatically different purposes, and there's not one that's better than the other for everyone. It's going to depend on the kind of photography that you're doing with these lenses. But that's what this test shows, is just because it's the newest doesn't mean it's the highest performance, unless it's an APO, of course, which is what the high performance lenses are. This is a Noctilux designed to give you an image that looks like it was taken with a Noctilux, and all of those defining characteristics are present. What we're really getting that's unique compared to the 50 Noctilux is a dramatically sharper center and off-axis center performance, because the 0.95 is notoriously low contrast in the center and somewhat soft, pretty good. But the 35 Noctilux redefines what a daily Noctilux lens can do, and is one of the reasons I think you could use this lens.
Yeah, and I would say the 50.95 still has a place, because
Oh, yeah, of course.
Here is what the 50.95 offers that even the 35 Noctilux, and definitely the 75 Noctilux, I think more than any of the other of its siblings, the 50 Noctilux is the most dreamy of the lenses,
yes,
right?
yes.
And if you really want that absolute dreamy, melty, 0.95 look, that's the only lens on this table that can produce that.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think to reiterate Josh's point, it's not about this is absolutely better than this, which is absolutely better than, it's all about priorities in terms of what you're actually after creatively with your photography. If I'm shooting landscapes or cityscapes, especially in mostly daytime scenarios, I'm probably going to lean really heavily into the 35 APO. But now this Noctilux, if I'm going out night shooting, or I want a little bit more of the separation in a very busy environment, and I'm looking to really isolate subjects, the Noctilux, it's getting some points too.
I love this lens. Now, before I show more images, we're going to have another brief commercial break, so to speak. Obviously, you just saw the M3 keychain, M3 Olive keychain, the greatest thing ever made by anyone ever. Forget the 35 Noctilux. I'm doing the rest of the episode on this keychain, okay?
Wow, okay.
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you love the idea of an M3 keychain, but you say, well, I really wish it took pictures, well, I have something for you. In the secret box. It's a real Leica M3. Well, wait a
Wow.
minute. What if this one sells in 2 seconds? Well, there's another real Leica M3.
Wait, is this one of those magic trips where you just keep pulling it out of the
Yeah.
hat?
What if that M3 sells?
Wait, what? But wait, there's more.
Another Leica M3.
Now it really
and
does
you're
feel
really
like-
sad because they all sold. Oh, wait. And one more. So Let's get an overhead view, Jose. Fresh from...
You got to go the other way.
Fresh from... fresh from DAG. Just got 4 fabulous Leica M3s back from service. Literally all at the same time, which was shocking. So if you're in the market for a really, really nice M3, there's 3 single strokes. So we have a 1 million serial number, we have a 957, a 963, and then we have a 732, which is a double stroke. I'll kind of show them off one at a time. I opened the box and I was like, what the heck is in here? Now here's the really cool thing about 3 of these cameras is 3 of these cameras come with this, they come with this envelope, but they come with...
They come in a postal service envelope? My gosh.
Their original
wow,
guarantee card.
Okay, that is really cool.
We acquired these M3s, 3 of them, from the son of the original owner, Mr. Frank T. Carr Jr. in Newport, Rhode Island. And he somehow managed to retain the original guarantee card from 1965 in this case. And 3 of these M3s actually include their original guarantee card. So just the fact that this paperwork survived for as long as it did.
It looks great too.
Is remarkable. Here, look, here's the one for the double stroke. Here we go. Look at this.
Shows the date on the top right there.
This date is March 14th, 1956. 732-397, 723. You see the serial numbers match perfectly. I don't know if that's focus or not.
Yeah, I see it.
So there are 4 of them. This one is broken. Sorry. I'm doing David Farkas.
I didn't do that. I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it.
David, come on.
Hey, wait. My hands are over here.
So
look,
if you look
that's
at
my hand.
957-880 is in incredible condition, the nicest of the 3. It doesn't come with the... it's the only one that doesn't have the certificate. It does have this cool M3 brochure, which is super funky. So if you wanted to know which one was the cleanest, now all 3 of these have super clear viewfinders. I was just looking through all of them earlier today. All the finders are crystal clear. The frame lines are great. The patches are super solid. I mean, all function perfectly. This one is definitely the nicest one. I mean, look at that. It doesn't have any of the light meter scratches you typically see on the top plates. And then the 1 million and the 963 are very close. The 1 million is a little bit nicer. See here, it's got the slightly newer ISO dial. And then, as one would expect, the 732 is the least nice, but still pretty darn nice for a camera from 1956. And again, 3 of these do have their original test certificates. So, if you're in the market for a freshly serviced by DAG M3, either a double stroke, a single stroke, a 1 million serial number, 900,000 serial number, or 700,000 serial number. 3 of them with their original certificates, all of them just working beautifully. Jose can drop a link in the chat to the used M collection we have. I literally just got these in. Each one of the M3s has also a really good video overview that I did. It shows the camera really close, much better than what you'll see here. It also shows what it comes with. So if you're in the market for an M3 and you want something really special, you want to get your hands on one of these super cool E-Lights certificates. Really, 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 really.
Those are neat.
Yeah, these are cool, right? I'm just amazed.
The condition is great.
Well, like this piece of paper had to survive 70 years. 56 or 70 years. I don't know. I mean, that's dedication. Like through the family members, like
it's not even wrinkled.
No, that's why I'm putting them in these envelopes. I'm like, I got to keep them safe. These are precious.
Yeah.
So anyway, 4 really, really nice M3s.
Nice.
Love the double stroke. 1 double stroke, 3 single strokes. Anyway, check them out at LeicaSummary.com if you want.
Excellent.
Yes, a super, super cool M3. Okay. Now,
moving on.
pictures.
More pictures.
Picture time. Yay, I love pictures. So, one area where the Noctilux is traditionally weakest is at infinity, at or near wide open aperture. So one of the tests I did that I don't normally do when I do lens testing is wide open at infinity. How does the Noctilux perform against the FLE, a lens that is notoriously good wide open at infinity, suspiciously good for a fast aperture lens. So if we come back to the computer screen, you will see.
Oh, get rid of that sidebar.
What sidebar?
The one on the right. Or that. Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you, David. On the left, 35 Noctilux 1.2, wide open. On the right, 35 Summilux 1.4, wide open. You can see we're taking advantage of the MEV1's electronic shutter. Now, of course, the M11 of course has the same, to get very, very fast shutter speeds to be able to shoot wide open in these kind of super bright conditions. So let's take a look. This is at infinity. This is a building. I actually showed this building during the SL3S episode, and it was far less built up than it is now. So if you ever watch that episode again, and you watch this episode, you're like, wow, like it's so much bigger now.
More construction.
Here's the crazy part. The 35 Noctilux is ever so slightly sharper than the Summilux at infinity.
That's insane.
It blows my mind. I mean, look at the detail of the construction workers
this is
here.
wide open?
This is wide open.
Wow.
I was there. I took these
Wow.
pictures. I know. It's crazy. This kind of performance wide open at infinity
It's
blows
insane.
my mind.
That's insane.
It blows my mind. Now, what's cool is you still get the Noctilux character, just much, 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 much less. As I start to come back towards the corners, you see it gets a little bit softer, a little more magical. 35 is holding sharpness a little bit better. Let me go to, let me zoom out.
There's also more vignetting.
There's more vignetting, which is what we want in a Noctilux. But
Wow.
unbelievable in performance at infinity. Now, of course, if you want to compare it against the standard bearer,
Uh-oh, here we go.
here we go. Well, let's compare it against the APO, which will
Also wide
continue
open,
to
right?
blow your mind. As good as the Noctilux is, the APO
It's just
is
better.
at another level. Again, this is wide open at f2. Like this is like f8 performance.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reality of the APO-Summicron is that at f2 it's already optimized performance over most every other lens.
I mean, holy moly, that is
It's wild.
That is something else. So, just a different kind of a test that I don't normally do. And then the last test I'll show before we show.
Can you just show that also f2 versus f2?
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, all three of them at f2.
Yeah.
So,
First, let's do Summilux versus Noctilux at f2. Okay, so same Noctilux on the left, FLE2 on the right. Stop down to f2. Let's see, they should hopefully come closer together.
very nice.
Noctilux still has
sharp
the
right now.
edge. You
So
can see here
sharp.
up here, very, very slight. You can look at the
Also look at-
construction workers.
yeah,
You can see the differences
yep.
there.
More defined.
Fascinating.
Very cool. So even at f2, it's still
Very
still pulling
slightly,
ahead.
yes, very slightly. But that's only in the, but I should mention, that's only in the center, by the way. The corners, now there is nothing in the corners at infinity here.
No.
Because that's very hard to find. But the corners of the FLE will be sharper than the center. Excuse me. Than the corners of the FLE. Let me re-say that. Just like we saw in our controlled testing with the targets, the Noctilux 35 is sharper in the center. The Summilux FLE is sharper in the corner. So I'm showing you center sharpness here at infinity just to really show you what the Noctilux is capable of. But understand that if you had stuff at infinity in the corners, the FLE would come out ahead.
I am curious. Well, how far did you stop down on this test?
5.6.
Let's see 5.6 across the range.
Sure.
Here, because how much of the difference is going to be eliminated now, and also the vignetting.
Let's look at the APO versus the Noctilux. Yeah. Well, no, they should be pretty close at this point.
You notice there's almost no vignetting now.
I know. Yeah, there shouldn't be. We're almost the same.
Wow.
Maybe the APO has a tiny edge, but it's
getting really close.
It's very close. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
I mean, by 5.6, I sure would hope so.
I mean, not every lens can perform as well as
Yeah, that's
the
true.
APO-Summicron.
Yeah. I mean, what you're paying for is wide open or near wide open performance. The fact that the 35 APO is barely sharper at f5.6
Wow.
than it is at f2 is
yeah, that's something.
kind of insane. And then we can throw the FLE in there if we want. Oops. What did I do? Oh, no. Oh, I made a black and white by accident. Sorry. I pressed the V button. That's why. Let me switch them. I'm just smashing buttons on the keyboard. Let's see. At 5.6,
Very close.
very close.
Very, very close.
I mean, again, as one would
Go,
expect.
go a little off axis now. Let's see.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty
Pretty
close.
darn close.
Yeah.
Yeah, negligible. Okay.
Nice.
Last test I want to show is a little bit of infinity plus flare. Oops. Wide. Your W key doesn't work on this darn keyboard. We can't afford a Leica. We can't afford a new keyboard.
Operator error.
So this is just the opposite side of that garage at night, shooting with the street light right in the frame to try to understand how the lens does with flare. This is the Noctilux. It is controlling the flare extremely well. You see a tiny little bit right here, and that's pretty much it. Here, there's nothing. Now, if we look at the FLE, look at that big flare here, and this is getting much larger. So even though the FLE is a higher performance lens in the corners, it doesn't have that exotic PGM lens design for the A-spheres, so it does exhibit more flare. But what's more interesting in this comparison is chromatic aberration. Let's take a look. Again, wide open on both. I'm going to zoom into the Miracle Theater sign, this here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, these are unedited in the sense that we have not done anything to remove the chromatic aberration in Lightroom, which we are going to do live
Sure.
with you guys so you can see what the tool can and cannot do. But out of camera, meaning without any chromatic aberration correction, you can see there is a significant difference. Now we're shooting into a bright light bulb at infinity, wide open. That is the absolute torture test.
At night.
At night. I mean, it doesn't get any more difficult than this. And the Noctilux is performing mind-blowingly well. Now, let's go to the
I am curious about the APO because you have it.
Oh, okay. Let's compare it to the APO. Let's do that. If you want to see,
Let's see the
all right.
performance.
So let's look at our chromatic aberration of the Noctilux versus the APO. I mean, the gulf is smaller between the Noctilux 35 and the APO 35, but the fact that the APO 35 has almost none, whereas the Noctilux does, of course, have some. I mean, that's
Also, notice the little star at the top.
right here.
How clearly defined it is. And then how is the flare control on the APO as well?
It is even better.
Yeah.
So there's more. You're getting the star effect here, which is not flare, so don't confuse this for flare.
But yeah.
But if you look here, bear with me here. Come on, buddy. You're getting that little piece of flare here. You're getting absolutely none. So no, there's no lens flare at all on the APO. I mean, the APO, I want to cry. It's so good. It's just so good for landscape, architecture, fine reproduction,
everything.
close to anything. It is just really, really, really good. Well, let's do a quick thing here. I'm gonna go and we're gonna go to lens corrections. We're gonna zoom in.
That's it.
Now you can see we got rid of it, but we lost a lot of detail in the process because what it's really doing is desaturating the fringing. And so yes, we were able to get rid of a fair amount of chromatic aberration on the 35 Summilux, but at the loss of detail. Here.
Let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, so now you can see, now it's very obvious. Here we go. We'll let it load. Now that I changed something, it has to load again. Gosh forbid I change anything in Lightroom. Come on.
I feel like it should have elevator music.
That's probably copyrighted now. This video's gonna get stricken off the internet. Okay, here we go. I preloaded all of these, but once you make a change,
still going.
it has
It's
to load everything.
It's like, oh, but you changed this one thing.
Yeah,
so
but while it's going, so the chromatic aberration tool is very powerful, but as you can see, when you have extreme aberration, it does have its limits. Now you could go in there manually and start blah, 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 but it is definitely not going to be the same. Wow, this is... I blame your computer. I blame your broken keyboard, actually.
Right, it's all my fault.
Yeah, thank you, David. See, now you said it. It's on the internet forever.
It's on the internet forever.
This is.
Yep.
There we go.
Maybe zoom out. Zoom back
Oh no,
in.
I'm not zooming out. No.
Hey, look at that.
Okay, so we were able to get rid of it, but you can see how it's just like, you're losing a lot.
It kind of obliterated.
You're losing a
detail,
lot.
Yeah.
So to get back to the point at hand,
It's easy to remove.
Less flare?
One click. Yeah.
less chromatic aberration significantly than the Summilux.
Yep.
Not as good as the APO. So the APO is still the king when it comes to basically every measurable metric of performance: sharpness, chromatic aberration, spherical aberration, coma, flare, distortion, infinity, all of that. We didn't talk about close-up, I guess.
No, you didn't do that yet. We should talk about that.
I did a sort of slapdash in spirit of the fact that on Thursday, March 5th at Leica Miami, we'll be having a fantastic Leica watch event. I had to feature some of the absolutely beautiful Leica watches. And the goal of this test was actually just to understand 0.5 versus 0.4 versus 0.3 meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show them at f5.6 because I think it's really not about bokeh or anything else. Oops. Here we go. So let's just go through because it's, oops.
You just typed an E.
Ooh, E, yes, sorry. I'm ham-fisting it over here. There we go. Okay, what time? Oh, we're good, okay. 0.5 meters, 0.4 meters, 0.3 meters.
Those are very small numbers that make a very big difference.
0.3 meters, 0.4 meters, 0.5 meters. So what I would say is not that usable for product photography, getting there, usable. 35 APO, 35 Summilux, 35 Noctilux. Meaning, if close focusing is a critical priority for you, do not get the 35 Noctilux, at least not without adapters and L-Pros and things, which then take you to a whole other world. The close-up performance of the 35 APO out of the box is remarkable.
You should zoom in on that.
You can see me. Hey, it's me.
Oh yeah, look, it's ridiculous. Yep, there it is.
Man.
You can see the polishing marks on the.
That's so cool. Yeah, there's the Summilux. And then there's the
I mean, they're all sharp.
They're all good, yeah. But the APO is always going to be the king. Okay, we should take a few questions, come back to us, and then I will close out the show by showing
some samples.
By showing my car photography. So if you want to see some cool automotive photography taken with the 35 Noctilux, stay tuned. I'll try to do that around like 9:45 or sooner.
Okay, I have to imagine there's some comments or questions that Jose has got for us, right? After all that, let's see, what do we got?
Yeah, I mean, we answered, a lot
No,
of
we
questions.
didn't answer anything.
Can we see the 35
What?
on the M3? No, the Noctilux.
No.
Absolutely not. I refuse. There's no frame lines for a 35 Noctilux on the end. I'm just kidding. Of course I'll do it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to imagine a 35 Noctilux on a double stroke M3. Is that blasphemy? Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Overhead. You want to see it real quick? Ask and ye shall receive.
Look at that.
All right, enough of that.
That seems like a strange concoction right there.
Very strange, yes.
Here, put this one on like it belongs.
No, it doesn't belong because it's at 35.
But at least it's a steel rim.
Next question, Jose. What else we got?
All right. Probably don't know the answer to this, but why didn't they make it faster, like a F1?
My guess is because it would just be huge.
Size.
Yeah.
Size, performance. I mean, every time Leica goes to design a lens, they have to weigh all these possibilities, right? So it's a matter of how do we make it in that form factor so that it's usable. They might have been aiming for an E49 size. They might have been aiming for a certain close focus, because also the faster the aperture is, the harder it is to get that closer focus, which is indicative, as you saw here, 0.3 meters on f2 as maximum, 0.4 at 1.4, and 0.5 at 1.2.
Right.
If they made it an f1,
it'd probably be 0.8.
0.7
meters.
meters.
May not even get to 0.7. So
because keep in mind, the 0.95 Noctilux is 1 meter minimum distance, not even 0.7.
Yeah.
Because it gets exponentially harder to correct for close focus and wide aperture simultaneously.
Correct. So I think 1.2 is the sweet spot for size, performance, and close focus. And just from using it, I would say, yeah, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
What else we got?
And I think also, just to add on, I think Josh pointed out and demonstrated in the Bokeh testing, I mean, to my eye, if you didn't tell me what lenses, if you told me that the Summilux was actually an f2 and the Noctilux was a 1.4, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out. It seemed, the Bokeh seems a stop apart, not a third of a stop.
Yeah.
So whatever magical mojo, whatever they're putting in there, I don't think you need that extra stop. I'd rather have the more usable size and form factor.
Let's do a few more questions.
All right. Sure. So we had a question earlier. Said the 75 Noctilux is great for portraits, but what is the use case for a 35 Noctilux?
I mean, I can answer as a 35 diehard user, right?
Everything is the answer.
Everything. No, I think it's great for street photography. It's great for travel. I mean, I think of the 35 as a kind of an everything lens. I find it great for travel, for reportage. It's wide enough that it feels more intimate and personal than a 50. We've talked about this a million times. That the 35 makes you feel like a participant rather than an observer. But also, I love, especially the 35-1.4 has been great for doing environmental portraiture because you can get a little more intimate with the subject, but also see the environment. So you want to call it environmental portraiture or reportage, whatever, photojournalism. The 35 is kind of that bread and butter. And having the Noctilux that allows you the creative control to have a really wide lens, not a really wide lens, a moderately wide normal lens. Step into an environment and it could be a very busy background with other stuff going on that you can't control. So in my mind, I'm thinking I can shoot this wide open, blow out that background while still getting a very, very crisp subject. And what I'm noticing when Josh is showing off the sharpness photos on the bookshelf, remember, as you get to the corners, the sides and the corners fall off considerably, but I think it was a very purposeful choice by Leica that you'll notice almost top to bottom of the frame is almost equally sharp to the center. Think about how you're composing for a human. You don't often put the face in the middle of the frame. You put it, just below the top of the frame. So you're still going to get a very sharp, isolated subject, even if you're composing like you see in this kind of frame, where I'm at the top of the image, not all the way down here in the middle of the frame. So I think it's very usable for that. The 75, I think, is going to be more for your kind of head and shoulders, headshot or tight, mid-body. If you are intimate like that, or close-ups, and if you have the creative ability to be really far back, like 10 meters or 8 to 10 meters from your subject, then you can kind of do like a 3/4 length or something like that with great compression and separation. But you're going to need that space with a 75. The nice thing about a 35 and a fast 35 is you can be much closer working distance to your subject for human subjects. And then because, as Josh showed off, the sharpness at infinity, it becomes equally usable as a general purpose lens for doing architecture, travel, street photography, landscape photography.
Yeah.
And if you can stop it down to 5.6
Yeah.
and get almost APO-Summicron performance, it's kind of checking a lot of boxes.
Speaking of practical applications, what a perfect segue.
Wow.
We'll take more questions, but I don't want to leave here without showing some images. So, Jose, if you could...
Yeah.
Is that going to work?
Oh, no.
What do I want?
What do you want? Oh, do F, and then Jose, do the Pix one. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yay. So every year I look forward to this event. This is called the Miami Concourse. It is my favorite car show of the year. It happens in February in the Miami Design District. It is an unbelievable event, and I have to give a shout out to the folks at Prestige Imports in Miami. An incredible car dealership. They sell insane supercars. They were able to work with me to get me access to this event really early in the morning. This was like 6:30 a.m. To make some interesting photographs. So I took the MEV1, the 35 Noctilux, a 49mm circular polarizer, the hand grip, the thumb support, and I just shot from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., mostly shooting in the morning before it got busy, just trying to understand. This was my first outing with the lens. I had just gotten it the day before. This was the first picture I took with it. I just was like, let me just get started. And with the goal to understand what this lens can do. And for me, as someone who traditionally shoots 50 and longer, emphasis on longer, using a 35 was a little bit foreign, at least for automotive photography, which is traditionally I do with a longer lens. The combination of the extreme center sharpness, making it effortless to focus, the small size and weight, making it easy to just be running around the streets. I probably did 30 or 40,000 steps that day. And the look, the bokeh, I mean, it blew my mind. This is a crazy Maserati MC12 and just, 0.5 meters. So I don't normally do a lot of close-up work, but that's usually because I'm using Noctiluxes that go to a meter or 0.8 meters. So the fact that I could get up there and take an awesome shot of this carbon fiber Koenigsegg wheel, that's probably like $20,000. That's pretty cool. This event is notable because they cover 3 blocks of the Miami Design District with a red carpet. So the whole street, as you'll see, is covered in this wild red carpet. So it makes all the images from the show very distinct. And I think that's a really clever idea. Again, it's the Miami Concourse. If you want to go next year, it'll be sometime in February, I'm sure. It is incredible. Different Koenigsegg. This is kind of showing you a little bit of foreground bokeh, a little background bokeh, subject isolation. Highlight retention of the EV1 obviously is amazing. Just images that I would have a hard time making with a longer lens because the slight width gives you like sort of an epic feel to a car like this. Bugatti, crazy. This car was moving actually while I took this, so I just kind of like followed it. And because the gearing is so smooth and positive on the 35 Noctilux, I could do focus tracking much easier than I traditionally have been able to in the past, which was pretty nice. This is a Zinger. I forget how to pronounce it. It's like CZ something. Crazy car. The Design District has all these luxury stores. So you see there's like Cartier in the background. So you get these fascinating backgrounds if you get to the show early enough. The Maserati MC12 again. I just love the way that it renders tone. It's so cool. This is a one-off by a gentleman named James Glickenhaus. It's the P45 based off of Ferrari Enzo. It's insane. This is the car that you saw driving in the beginning, the first photo. Just wild the way that this lens functions. I don't know. I mean, that background is only about
You're pointing again.
that background here. Sorry, thank you, David. This background is not that far from the car, and the way that it just melts away with the Noctilux is remarkable. Koenigsegg Regera, here I'm playing with reflection, just having a little bit of fun.
Not just that, but also I think we haven't really tested that, which is the foreground bokeh, which is something worthwhile to speak about because sometimes there's too much focus on this, back focus bokeh. But this is extremely smooth and well controlled and very tame.
Yeah, there's a lot of things happening here. There's LED lights going on in the sign or in the windows, and there's reflections, and there's the bright light. I mean, yeah. Let's see. One of my favorite cars of all time, the Ferrari F430 Scuderia, or the 430 Scuderia. Excuse me. Don't blast me for that. This is for me an experiment of when I start to get further away and incorporate other cars and a more wide angle look. How does the bokeh handle? And I just love the way it melts away. It's still identifiable, but man, it's just magical. A little bit of close up, just playing around with this. This is a situation where the lack of chromatic aberration is really handy because I can capture all the details and the tones and the gold lettering. There's no distracting aberrations, anything like that. This is one of my favorite photos from the event, maybe because I'm a watch guy, but this is a Koenigsegg Jesko Attack, which is this absolutely bananas car from Sweden. One of the cool parts about getting to events early is this is not where this car was for the show. Most of the cars you've seen, where they are is not where they ended up. They're being staged, and I'm just waiting for the right moment, and I'm waiting for the background to be perfect. I saw the green on the car, the green on the Rolex. I'm like, this is perfect.
And I have to say, the natural vignetting in the red carpet really draws the eye in.
Yeah, I added a little bit, like -5, so I'm cheating a little bit. Because actually there wasn't enough in it.
Really? Really? Okay.
Most of these, no, I didn't add any, but this one I did just because I liked it. Close up again. Again, I don't normally do close up work with the M stuff because I can't, but now of course I can play with that. I took this photo because I was curious how difficult it would be to focus on the carbon fiber, basically just the windowsill. And let's see if we can actually zoom in here. I mean, it's the detail.
The dust.
This is all wide open, by the way, all 1.2. Just the way that things fall off and just melt away is incredible. Out.
And go. You broke it.
Come on. Oh, got it. Okay. Sorry. And also look at the bokeh. Ah, gorgeous. Little interior shot. This is a Pagani
So
Utopia.
A lot of chrome.
A lot of chrome. Wide open. I mean,
not a lot of CA.
Look at that.
Very well controlled.
Super, super nice. And the detail is insane. This car is also bananas. Again, just playing with close-up. What I like about this shot is you can see a fiber from the rag, from the detailer, because it got caught. This is a fitting car for this because Zagato and Leica have done some collaborations in the past. So this is a Aston Martin Zagato. This shot right here is the sun.
Yeah.
I'm literally shooting into the sun, trying to get flare. And all I could get was this little guy right here, and that was it. Most lenses would just fall apart.
Well, you get veiling flare, and you lose all that contrast. But look how much snap and pop that has.
Yes.
I love the headlight on that one.
Talking about shooting into the sun again, I mean, literally the sun is here. I'm staring at the sun. I'm like going blind trying to take this photo. Just to push this lens to its absolute limit. This is another zinger or whatever they call it. There are a bunch of people back here. You can barely tell. Everything just melts away. You get that beautiful Noctilux experience. Another Pagani Huayra. Again, wide open, letting the background just melt away, but still keeping all the detail in the headlights. I mean, sweet. Okay, let's see. Different car from the same place. I just like the way the tones of the car kind of match the Montclair. And of course, the detail is all there.
Wow, that is sharp. Wide open again?
Oh, yeah. Everything is wide open. I didn't even bother to stop the lens down, to be honest with you.
Stop down for what, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, more close up. This is the Utopia wing mirror, which is just with a little Italian flag on the side. Just cool little touches like that. Almost done. More flare testing, 918. Just like shooting through a window. So the window's up. Just doing some detail shots. Again, shooting into the sun. Metal, chrome, glass, reflective surfaces. Like I see the tiniest hint of a purple fringe, and that's it. I mean, remarkable.
So cool.
This is one of my favorite shots as well. I just love the way this car just lit up in the sun. Again, a huge advantage of coming early is, getting shots like this before people are mobbing the cars. I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is beautiful, beautiful Ferrari. Just playing around with composition and taking advantage of that crazy red carpet situation. So yeah, I mean, I think, come back to us.
Very nice.
Just experiencing this lens for a very long day of photography with the MEV1 in this environment was a dream. I was just hooked. Using the EV1 with the polarizer, with the grip, with the thumb support, it gave me more joy than I've had in a long time shooting at an event like this, which is normally very busy, very chaotic. Trying to catch the light, trying to catch the moment before things get busy and they put up the barriers and everything goes crazy.
Well, what's fascinating for me as well, because most of the car photography I've seen from you in recent years is almost always with like the 90 Summilux, the 75 Noctilux. I mean, or if you're shooting with SL lenses, you're shooting the 90 to 280. Like, you're so heavily into telephotos.
Yeah.
This is a complete departure shooting 35.
Yeah.
Like, I feel you haven't shot 35 for years.
I mean, not at a car show.
Right.
I mean, I use the 35 APO and the FLE, but not for travel, not for automotive work. So it was very refreshing to come into this environment and to have the ability to get the width with the bokeh, with the control, and of course, because it's so sharp in the center, to be very quick because you have that really positive confirmation because it's so crisp. The EV1 finder is so good. The fact that it has the automatic focus magnet, I can't even speak.
You're doing great.
Automatic focus assist makes it super easy. And my hit rate was extremely high.
Yep.
And I spent most of my time just playing with composition and light. I didn't have to think about the gear or trying to, saw through a vintage lens in terms of like, it didn't focus and there's so much chromatic aberration, all this stuff. Yeah. I just went to town and I loved it. So thank you again to Prestige Imports, to We Are Curated, the other host of this event at the Miami Concourse. An incredible experience, and I hope to do it again next year. We probably should take a few more questions before we close.
Please.
Jose.
All right. We had a question earlier about field flatness of the Noctilux compared to the FLE2 or FLE.
The FLE is flatter in my experience, and that's part of the Noctilux look because it helps create some dimension, a little bit of pin cushioning. Again, the Noctilux 35 or any Noctilux is not about every optical performance metric being at its best. It's about making it look correct. It's about making it look like a Noctilux. Now, the fact that the center is so incredibly sharp and the transitions are so well controlled is a great testament to Leica's progress in optical design, but it is still at its heart a Noctilux.
Yes.
All right. We cannot solve this right now, but I have another question. When I focus on a subject using my 50 Noctilux and I nail it, the subject almost looks three-dimensional. Does the 35 Noctilux do the same?
Well, I mean, I just showed you like 25 images.
I mean, I would argue more so because it has a much higher sharpness wide open in that center zone. And the contrast between in focus and out of focus will give it more dimensionality.
Yeah. I mean, the 50 Noctilux is amazing. I'll never get rid of that lens, but
it's a unique paintbrush.
35 is
It's a unique paintbrush, yeah, for sure.
What else we got?
The big question is, do I trade in my beloved 35mm Summilux FLE for this?
Well, you know what I'm going to say is it
depends.
depends. I mean, if you've just watched this last 2 hours, you've understood the differences between those two lenses. And you essentially have to sit down and ask yourself, what kind of photography am I doing with my FLE? What does the Noctilux do differently and or better or more uniquely? And will that apply to either the kind of photography I'm doing now or the kind of photography I want to do? And then you ask yourself that, and if the answer is yes, you could consider trading the FLE. You may decide to keep it depending on where the FLE excels in terms of the sharper corners, the closer focus, the smaller size.
Lack of chromatic aberration.
No, that's the 35 Summilux.
We're talking about Summilux?
Yeah. Sorry. It's okay. No, it's fine. Because it has more chromatic aberration than the Noctilux does. Anyway,
Yes.
he's not paying attention. It's okay. Anyway, so
Yes,
there are...
I'm saying the lack of chromatic aberration.
Oh, to get the Noctilux. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about.
David does not know what he's talking about. Do you know where you are right now? I'm kidding.
Wait, what? Oh my God.
But anyway, I realized that just watching the show, it may not be enough to answer that question for everyone, especially given how difficult the lenses are to get for now.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones, of course, on the internet making content. There's a lot of great videos out there. If you get the chance to watch them, to also check out the lens in person at your local Leica store, eventually with us when we do get one on display. You know, it's a very unique, very specific lens, and not an inexpensive one. It's, $3,000-ish more than an FLE, so you do want to make sure that it's the right move if you decide to trade your FLE to get the Noctilux.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one had a question about the Summicron versus the Noctilux and where they fit in.
I mean,
Listen, I I'm going to get flamed for this, but
Yeah.
in a perfect world,
Yeah.
I think they both have a place in the kit.
I agree. I mean, I think every 35 is a play. I think you should have one bag just full of 35s.
I mean, I think
The
that
person watching this show who owns this 75 Noctilux and this 50 Noctilux 1.2, you have all the 35s. So you chime in. I'm not going to say who you are if you want. And you tell them they need to get all the 35s.
yeah. I think this makes the decision pretty difficult, honestly. As to choose just one would be very, very, very difficult. And like Josh said, I think you need to identify the criteria and the environments you're going to be shooting in, and ultimately, even more than that, because if you're pairing this with, say, the MEV1 or an M11P, it's so good in terms of its high ISO performance that I don't think this is a conversation about, like, can I get a little faster shutter speed? Can I shoot a little lower ISO?
Yeah.
I think that's less relevant, and this is more of the look that you're after, more so than the performance. Unless you say, well, I shoot in really low light and I need a really fast shutter speed, and I'm already bumping up against, like, ISO
Or you're shooting film.
20,000.
Crazy.
What's that? what is this? Well, then you can't use the close focus and whatever. So I think that for certain environments, the Noctilux is going to extend that capability. And to reiterate my point, and the lack of chromatic aberration, especially in these low light environments with bright pinpoint light sources, like you're seeing in all this testing is exposed, you'll end up with cleaner images, more usable, less post-processing, which is always a nice thing.
Yeah.
If you're going to just stop this thing down to f8, just get a Summicron.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's well said. I think we probably should call it. It's 10 o'clock. A couple things, though. Number one,
Yes.
if you didn't already see it, get the M3 olive keychain. I'm going to put it in the chat again.
Oh my gosh.
Get it. You need it in your life.
Wow.
Join us Thursday, March 5th for Leica Watch event, 4:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Leica Watches. Come hang out with us and geek out about watches. Thursday, March 12th, 7 p.m. for our gallery opening. And May 1st through 3rd, if you want to sign up for the M11 boot camp. We're bringing it back. It's been 8 years.
And last chance,
Yes.
you should bring this up as well.
Yes.
Last
while you're
chance
talking.
to check out the current gallery. And there's you got it?
What am I looking at?
Current gallery?
Oh, it's on Red Dot Forum?
Store events.
That's not there anymore.
Yeah. The current gallery.
No.
Oh, it's not there.
What
but,
you talking about?
oh, but it is on Red Dead Forum.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so actually, go back to the main page.
Oh.
Sorry. So we do have a guest article by our current gallery exhibition.
Yeah, Kira Crowell,
Yep.
who is an amazing photographer, showing in the gallery right now, at least for another week.
Correct.
Has a fantastic article on Red Dot Forum with absolutely gorgeous photography.
In the Himalayas.
Yes.
So she used the Leica SL, Leica SL system. So the original SL, the SL2, now the SL3, for 10 years of expeditions in the high Himalayas, and fantastic photographer and mountaineer and just an incredible human being. So you should, if you can't make it to check out the gallery exhibition, please go to red.forum.com. Check out her article and her wonderful photography that is currently hanging on the wall. And it kind of shows off what you can do with the SL when you're willing to take it up to these 8,000 meter peaks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So again, I want to thank the folks at Leica Camera USA for making this lens happen.
To us.
I want to thank the literal Leica superhero, Jackie, for loaning me her precious 35 double spherical. Thank you, Jackie. If you're watching, you are the best. And to the other person who owns every lens ever made, who loaned these Noctiluxes. Because you're watching, I won't say who you are. But, and to the Miami Concourse, Prestige Imports, for allowing me access to photograph the event with the Noctilux before the sun even came up. It was a labor of love to generate this content for everyone.
Hopefully you think it's worth it.
If you like this, you can support us by shopping at Leica Miami. We have the M EV1 in stock. So if you want to get the most out of your exotic, vintage, fast aperture lenses, you want to shoot car stuff like I do with a polarizer, the EV1 is a game changer. You will see more EV1 content from me to come because I'm just obsessed with it. And yeah, want to sign us off? Sorry, I'm going to take your thunder there.
No, you're doing great. I'm just gonna hold on. I have some stuff to check on my phone.
You're just gonna go get.
Yeah, no,
I'm doing good.
Just
Okay,
keep going.
yeah, no, you can find it. Thank you very much.
Listen, Josh. Yeah. Big thanks to Josh. He really knocked it out of the park with amazing real world samples. I know, he really went through a lot of suffering because you can tell he hates being around these exotic
Awful.
cars.
Oh, so much work.
I mean, and it's like, oh, who could be bothered by like being around and seeing these one of a kind cars? I mean, who could be bothered?
You should feel bad for me, is what I'm saying.
I feel very bad for you.
Thank you.
So he did great work. I'm very impressed. Real world, and especially I think car photography like that, with all those chrome accents, with the carbon fiber, the very clearly defined headlights and things like that, all these reflecting surfaces. It's very difficult to shoot with substandard optics. I'm just going to say that right now because anytime I have tried, I have failed. And I think that those kind of automotive photographs taken under those kind of conditions, those lighting conditions, it's very, very demanding optically, both for the camera and the lens, and nailing focus where you want it, controlling depth of field. So obviously, I think that is a pretty killer combo there.
Yeah.
So really got to see that.
That was fun.
And then all the testing, both daytime, nighttime. Josh spent literal days doing this.
Yes.
And I had a chance to help process some of the images and look at it. And got to say, very impressive results from the Noctilux. I am optimistic that Leica will continue down this path of excellence because obviously, when you think of Leica, you think of optical excellence, you think of lens innovation, and they're not resting on the laurels. They just keep knocking it out of the park. So it's really exciting to see that. And I'm personally looking forward if Josh ever lets go of the lens.
Well, I got to give it back.
How convenient! The next time I can get my hands on one, I'm really excited to go out myself, do some night photography with it, some environmental portraiture. I think it's going to be fantastic. So wonderful. No, to answer the question, it is not readily available right now.
Unless you're watching this like 5 years from now.
Unless you're watching it 5 years from now, and then congratulations, it's available. No, we don't know when they'll be available. No, we don't know how long the wait will be. But I would highly encourage you, if you are interested in the lens, you can just get on the pre-order mailing list for this. You basically just put your name and contact information, no payment, no orders required. It just saves your place in line. It's a very light commitment because there isn't one. We just let you know when one comes in. That way, just put your name down. When one eventually does come in, you'll get it.
Or just get a keychain and be happy.
And get a keychain.
Or an M3.
Yes. Great. Though I don't think there's much M3s left. Anyway, that is all. As Josh pointed out, the best way to support the channel, if you appreciate what we do, is you can make your purchases at Leica Store Miami, both for Leica cameras, accessories, and whatnot. You can come on a workshop with us. You can take the M11 bootcamp with Josh in person.
And we'll go take some crop pictures.
All this.
I promise.
He actually has like a lower body below the table.
It's all
here.
robot stuff.
Yeah, all robot. It's all mechanics.
That's right, exactly.
And if you want to do any kind of landscape or street photography workshops, we have wonderful workshops through Leica Store Miami. And be sure to subscribe to the channel, throw us a like. We like that. And check out red.forum.com for latest Leica news, reviews, tech articles, and even guest posts from wonderful photographers, which hopefully we can keep going with that. We also, we didn't talk about it. We also have a fantastic video from our own Colin McKinley that we just put up about a week ago about how weather sealed our Leica cameras and using your Leica cameras safely in extreme, wet, cold, humid environments. I do have to say it's a bit of a trigger warning here. We actually have a warning like right at the beginning.
It's a cool video. It's on our channel. You should check it out.
It's very cool.
Yes.
But some people might get a little, my gosh, why are they doing that?
It's worth the watch.
It's worth it. Yeah. Worth the watch. Great information. And Colin says, how far is too far? And if you go too far in terms of like environment, how to come back from that and how to save your cameras. So well worth the watch. Highly encourage you to check it out. It's on our channel. And I think that's it. So we will be
next
back
time. Sometime in the future. I don't know when.
sometime in the future, unless they're watching this in the future, and then the next episode actually happened in the past.
March 5th, Leica Miami. Come hang out with us and some Leica watches, please. That's when we'll see you next.
Yes. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you soon-ish with another great episode. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.